When I'm offshore fishing, I'm rigging with a small trace of wire leader 90% of the time. I don't want to give up those big bites on a nice wahoo, kingfish, or even shark or barracuda because I chose to go with a straight mono or fluorocarbon leader. In this video, I want to show you guys an easy way to tie the Haywire Twist so when you go offshore, you hook more of those toothy critters and you don't reel up a fluorocarbon or mono leader that's been bitten off. It's going to allow you to put more fish in the box and have a great time out there with your friends and family. Here we go. How's everyone doing? I'm Captain Mike with ReelReports.com, and today I'm going to walk you through the Haywire Twist. Before I go offshore fishing, I like to rig up about 10 to 15 wire leaders because your time offshore is so precious. It is so key to be pre-rigged out there, especially when you're a hot bite, whether you're kite fishing, bottom fishing, drifting. It's nice to have pre-made wire leaders just like this in case you get bitten off, you lose a fish, or you just get a bite and this gets all twisted up on you. So that's why I like to make these the night before, preferably in the indoors in the air conditioner. It's only about 95 degrees out here today, but I want to show you guys exactly how I make these wire leaders. I do it quick and I do it very efficiently. So I always have my pool float up here with leaders ready to go, as well as some kinked ones. Here's another one ready to go. If we get in a hot bite, I just come out here, grab the leader. It's already got a swivel on it, and we're ready to get back in the action. The more time you got baits in the water, the more likely you are to catch a fish. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna show you guys exactly what you need. Here we go. I got number 5. It is 43-pound wire leader. I also like to use number 4, which is 40. I generally don't go bigger or smaller than these two. When I'm targeting kingfish, sailfish, wahoo, tuna, mahi, these are the sizes I'm going. I like to fish 5 when I'm using like a deeper bait, potentially get bigger bites down there, but I like to fish 4 also because it's a little bit stealthier and you don't lose a lot of fish on it, especially big fish. And let me tell you guys, tuna, mahi, sailfish have no problems eating wire leader. They're supposed to have some of the best eyesight out there, and I've caught a ton of fish. Like I said, 90% of the time I'm fishing wire leader because I just don't want to give those bites up. A lot of the times I got people that can only fish with me maybe once a year or even twice a year. So when I get those people on the boats, when we get a rod bent over, I want to make sure we hook that fish, whether it's a big shark, a wahoo, a barracuda, a kingfish, mahi. I want them to have some fun, and that's why I fish wire leader. So let's go ahead and get started here. So we're going to take the wire leader out of the bag. Here's a pro tip, guys, I think you're going to like. If you have a nice sharp pair of pliers, you can actually take your wire leader out of the bag and cut right down the middle, and you're going to have a bunch of pre-sized wire leaders ready to rig, and they're actually the perfect size. My manlies here are not quite as sharp as they used to be, so I'm not going to try it, but I can generally get through it with a little bit of strength. But for now, I'm just going to take off about 18 inches of wire. That's all we need. I'm going to go ahead and cut that. All right. So first thing I'm going to rig up is I'm going to rig up a circle hook, and I like this little 5/0 circle hook here. These are great for kingfish, tuna, mahi, all that stuff. So the first step we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and push the wire leader through the eye of the hook here, as so. Generally about, give yourself about 6 inches there of tag end. And now what we're going to do is we're going to form a loop, just as so. And here's the trickiest part of the Haywire Twist. You want to hold the hook eye as well as this loop you just formed, and you want both strands of wire here to kind of form a 45-degree angle. And then what we're going to do is we're going to twist both pieces of wire around each other. Give me one here. And now that's going to lock. Now, a big problem with the Haywire Twist is that people do not turn both pieces of wire around each other. They take one wire and wrap it around the other. That's going to slip. That's kind of like a barrel wrap. You need to turn both pieces of wire while holding this loop and this hook tight here. So I like to do about 7 Haywire twists right there. I already have 1 in there, so we're going to do 6 more. So I got my number 2 here, number 3, number 4, 5, 6, 7. See how beautiful and tight that is? That's just a beautiful knot right there. And then to finish it up, we're just going to bend this tag end back at a kind of a 90-degree angle to the main leader there, and we're going to form what's called a barrel wrap. We're just going to twist the wire around the main leader here. We're going to twist the tag end around the leader here, and we're going to do about 3 to 4 barrel wraps. So let me get those full, and we want those tight. They have to be extremely tight in order to move on to the next step. So I'm going to wrap these tight here. Okay, so I got about 4 completed barrel wraps on there. You guys can see how nice that's turning out. Easy to do, quick, and I'll pound these out pretty much, 30 seconds each leader. I'll make about 10 to 15 of them, and then I'll store them. I'll show you how to do that as well. But a very important part to finishing up this haywire twist is you don't want to cut off this tag end. If you cut that off, it'll leave a very sharp edge, and not only is it going to cut you when you're hand lining, a big fish, if for some reason the mono doubles back and it touches that area or something, it could break the mono and potentially you can lose a fish. But mainly we just don't want to poke ourselves. So all we do is we make a crank, right? So we're going to take this is the tag end right here. We're going to bend it back towards the leader here, right? And it formed this little crank. So we bended it back towards the leader. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to turn it like a handle, and it's going to pop itself. So what I like to do is kind of push it up, go around, and then just make this little handle, and then it pops right off, and there's absolutely 0 tag end. So you see how easy that is? So now you got a finished, you can kind of bend this into shape a little bit if you kind of torqued it a little bit, but that's a finished haywire twist. Now I'm going to do a swivel on the other side just in real time for you guys, and so you can see how this goes. But that right there is a beautiful haywire twist. You're going to catch sailfish, tuna, mahi. I catch black grouper on them, amberjacks, mutton snapper. I mean, I'm fishing wire for pretty much everything out there but tarpon and snook. Don't think that the wire leader is going to prohibit you from catching more fish, because it's not. All right, so for the swivel, I like tiny, tiny swivels. I showed you guys in a previous video. I generally don't like to tie the Albright anymore, although I still tie it when I run out of swivels, but I like to have pre-made, completed leaders. If this didn't have a swivel on and was offshore, it'll take me about 30 seconds to 45 seconds to rig up the Albright offshore. I like to be able to just have the swivel in the heat of the moment, tie a quick uni knot. I'm back in the action in about 5 seconds. So again, this is a Spro size 7, and these little swivels are rated for 75 pounds. 75-pound test, and it comes 50 in a bag, and these are actually very affordable. You would think they'd be a little bit more expensive, but they're a good price. I'll try to drop a link in the description for you guys so you can find these if you don't have a local store that carries them. So I'm gonna do the same thing. This time I'm gonna kind of run it in real time here. So I got my swivel. I'm gonna go through the eye there. I'm gonna form the loop. I am going to do kind of lock it right there, and then we're gonna do 6 more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're going to finish it with a barrel wrap. So we want about 3 or 4 of those. 2, and remember, you want this tight in order to break off that tag end the way I showed you there. All right, so now we got the tag in there, and again, we're going to bend it towards the main leader right there, and then we're just going to form that crank, and we're going to turn it, and it pops right off, leaves no tag end. Now we got a nice leader, we got the hook, and we got the swivel on this side. And I'll generally, store these kind of twisted up like this in a bag, kind of store them just like that. And in the heat of the battle, let's just say we're catching fish and I got to swap it out. I got to swap out a leader because this came back all kinked up. I don't want to put out a kinked leader out there. I got a swivel here, I tie a uni knot real quick, and I'm back in the action. And wire leader is really gonna help you guys catch more fish out there. You gotta buy the right stuff. This stuff is pretty affordable. This is marlin, hardwire, stainless steel. It comes with plenty of leader in there to make a ton of leaders. And it's very important to be pre-rigged. I can't say it enough. When you go out there, if you have pre-rig leaders, you're gonna be using your time much more efficiently out there. And when we're offshore, we're generally out there for 4, 6, or 8 hours. We gotta make every minute of that count. And that means having perfectly straight wire leaders, having properly tied Haywire Twist, you know, and fishing good baits, of course. So I hope this video helps you guys learn how to tie the Haywire Twist. It's a really easy knot to master. You pick up your wire, you pick up your swivel, and you pick up your hooks, and the night before you go fishing, make a bunch of these, and it's gonna pay off when you're offshore fishing and you're in a hot bite. So I hope this video helps you guys. I'm Captain Mike with ReelReports.com. Tight lines and great fishing. There you have it. I made about 10 wire leaders there, and it is hot. I'm drenched in sweat. Obviously next time I'll make these in the house, but the lighting's pretty bad in there to make videos, so I decided to come out here on the boat and show you guys how to make these wire leaders. And now that I got a bunch made, I like to store them right back into the bag that I was using. And then I also made some treble hooks for when we're fishing deep lines. I like to put those in a little Ziploc because those pretty much snag everything. And then if I need to make more wire leaders while I'm out there, if we're in a super, super hot bite and I didn't make enough, I have everything I need in this one bag here. Whew. It is hot, boy.